Hola, ¿qué tal? Lunaticoin here speaking. Welcome to February's Bitcoin Micropod. Today with a very interesting topic, the Lightning Network. I sat down with Jeff Gallas from Fulmo, an open source company dedicated to research, development and consultancy for the Bitcoin Lightning Network. With him, I talk about Lightning, the Lightning meetups and conference, and also the soon to happen Barcelona's Lightning Hack Day. There is some problems with the internet connection at the beginning, so please bear with me, it gets better after a bit. Nothing else to add, so let's get into it. Good night, Fulmo.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, yeah.
Hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Yo muy bien, ¿y tú qué tal?
Sí, estoy bien, pero mi español es muy bueno.
Okay.
Podemos hablar en inglés, ¿no?
Yeah, let's go back to English because I have a lot of things. Well, not a lot, because as you know, this is a micropod, so focus more for the Spanish crowd, but in English, of course, for the sake of understanding. But my first question is: should I start slow or should I go right into it?
Go right into it.
Why Lightning?
I think Lightning is the best approach that we have today to scale Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is still the first and most promising decentralized money we do have that holds up the promise of changing everything.
Out of all the movements of Bitcoin that you do, let's say in a month, how much is Lightning and how much is on chain in percentage?
I use a lot of Lightning. Okay, where I start over again. Sorry, for editing. From out of all the transactions I do a lot of Lightning transactions, the great majority. But I also got to say that most of these transactions are transactions that wouldn't be possible on chain. So those are tons of microtransactions. Just one example, like there's this game called Bitcoin Bounce that pays out a daily reward. It's only like 50 sats every day. You couldn't do this on. So this is like a specific off-chain use that's only possible through Lightning. So without Lightning, I probably wouldn't do most of the transactions I do on Lightning.
So if you had to say, would you say like 70% of the transactions that you do in a month are Lightning and 30% on-chain? Maybe not thinking about quantity, not about volume, but more about like interaction.
I would say 10% are on-chain and 90% are off-chain.
Wow, not bad. When did you start in Bitcoin? How did you fall in the rabbit hole?
I personally started a while ago. Must have been 9 years, and I just read an article about it, and everything clicked together. I started reading it, and I haven't stopped yet. And the same goes for the Lightning Network. When I first read about it, it was appealing. I followed it I've been following it for maybe 3 years or so, and then when it went mainnet, when was that? Beginning of 2018. I started Fulmo Lightning days just to know more about it, and we ended up doing the Bitcoin conference. We started doing the Raspberries, the Bitcoin full node and Lightning full node on Raspberry Pi, and yeah, here we are, so strong, and experienced a lot of growth.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to ask you about something you just mentioned. I wanted to ask you about the Lightning Hack Days. What are they, and how they appeared?
So the Lightning Hack Days are roughly a mix between a conference, an on-camp conference, or what some people call a camp, which is basically a bunch of people gathering, sharing some sort of passion or knowledge about one topic, to talk that topic without having a previous agenda. So in the morning, you put up some talks or workshops, and you kind of decide on the spot what you want to talk about. And then it's also part hackathon where people just get together and create things, work on things, code on things, try to like prototypes for ideas. And we started out Berlin 2 years ago, basically by inviting all our friends, because nobody knew a whole about the Lightning Network just yet or how it worked. And we just sat down together for an afternoon, tried to figure things out, and from there it grew and grew and grew. And now we're actually coming to Barcelona. So this is the 6th Lightning Day, which is great.
I will ask you about it, because come on, you're coming to my hometown. So yeah, we have to speak a little bit about it. I wanted to ask you before, from the hack days that the 5 hack days that have happened already, what is the project that has come out of it, that or which are the projects that came out of it that you keep in your mind, like, oh yeah, I remember that project that was just starting there?
I think the most prominent project that probably or some of your listeners might know is actually the Raspberry Blitz, which is a Bitcoin and Lightning full node on a Raspberry Pi. It's completely open source. You can go to raspberryblitz.com and they will be linked towards sent towards the repository. We can just like see the shopping list for the parts and download the install script, and it's the cheapest node running a Bitcoin full node Lightning node so far. And this actually happened out of desire to onboard people relatively fast, and in the beginning was relatively hard to have a proper Lightning node running up and running in very little time. And so we like kind of, if you will, and process really quick and also reliably. That's been a project that ever since the first Lightning Hack Day Rootsol has been working on, and now it's evolved into its open source project. There's at least a dozen contributors, and we're thing at Force coming up to release version 1.5 by end of the Lightning Hack Day Barcelona, which
nice,
will have some nice changes. That's the biggest project, but really the Lightning Hack Day it's become sort of a platform where people meet and can teach each other, exchange ideas, and we've seen some companies that have been at Lightning investors there, for example, as at least some investors. We have seen some individuals who attend Lightning Hack Day who really got into Lightning, who kind of took this as a kickstart and now are full-time working the Lightning Network. Just to give a couple of examples, it's always been a showcase sort of, or a demo stage for products, and we've seen products evolve continuously. I got some feedback that kind of said that the Lightning Hack Days actually set kind of an external deadline to people or projects that help them achieve their goals and have something to build towards to, so have the next iteration ready by Lightning Hack Days so they can present it and discuss it with the community. So those are just a couple of examples. There's some big progress but most of it is actually small and steady and building community and just experiencing growth and working on new stuff, kind of evolving it. There's been a strong emphasis, or what I've seen is hardware tinkering, where all these crazy little devices and machines and have been built out. There's just to name a couple of examples. For example, there's Ben Ark, BTC Socialist, who's been building several open source devices. Candle Haters has been doing great and sometimes even crazy stuff, just putting Lightning into all these small devices. Sometimes it's just for fun, like the bubble machine where you can buy soap bubbles with Lightning. So I think like one bubble is one Satoshi. almost serious use cases like these Lightning ATMs or Lightning POS systems. But for most of all, it's fun. Like all the stuff that's being built is because people want to build it and they have fun, and it's about exploring and hacking and tinkering, and not really so much yet about finding a proper business case. We're still very early, and it's evolving really fast. And these people are most of the attendees are really like curious to see what it can do, and curious to see how this like early stage technology is working and how it's evolving.
The hack days, as you just explained, are more focused, I think, to makers, no? So people that wants to jump in and create something in Lightning and develop something in Lightning. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then we also saw, and I attended the Lightning conference in Berlin. That this was I think in another mood, no, in more to inform and get informed about what is happening and what will happen in Lightning.
Well, I think we try to make the Lightning Hack Day as appealing as possible to lots of different people. There is, of course, this focus on developers, but we also try to offer workshops and some talks about the Lightning Network, like about the basics of the Lightning Network. And I think it's safe to say that the Lightning conference really was just sort of it really kind of was a large Lightning Hack Day. It was a lot of more, it was more people. Of course, there was more scheduled talks for the conference. We had I think we had 90 speakers. Of course, the Lightning Hack Day is going to be smaller. We will not have 90 international speakers. But some of the showcases you could see, and some of the workshops, and some of the tinkering was actually done pretty much in the spirit of the Lightning Hack Day. So a lot of that spirit could be transported into the Lightning conference. So for us, it's also sort of a testing field of where we are in the Lightning Network, what the developments are, to stay in touch with the community, and to also see what we can use probably for the next Lightning conference, and just keep moving forward and iterate it and make it better and keep it interesting and connect people and all these things that are important for this global project. One thing that kind of sticks out is that Bitcoin and the Lightning Network is a globally distributed project, and as opposed to having people in an office or in a telephone conference and talking to each other regularly as you would do in a traditional company, I think these events, really all events and conferences and meetups and workshops and such, kind of do fill in for this need for people to connect in person and to socialize and to talk to each other in person, because that is something that I think is still really important, and that's something that these events can actually offer, this first-hand meeting experience, talking to your peers eye to eye and connecting in a way that's maybe not always possible when you just work online on IRC on GitHub the whole time.
Yeah, I agree with this, and you really feel the power after going there. You feel like everything advanced faster, no? And the contacts that you make there, the networking, and the ideas that you come up to after attending is it's like an acceleration, no? And also I want to say that the feeling that I got going to the second floor, where all these little machines were, where all the makers were, that was unbelievable, and it was a very nice experience. So I can imagine, and not only imagine, I want to attend to a hack day soon to see it, because as you were saying, you are coming to Barcelona in April,
right? Yes, so, April 4th and 5th. That's the weekend before Easter.
Yeah, why Barcelona?
One reason is that we always try to go to communities or to places where there's seemingly a big Bitcoin community already. So not only to kind of get them interested in Lightning as well, but also because out of personal interest. Barcelona is a nice city. and it's warm, and there's a beach and stuff. But but also to maybe to get connected with the Spanish community a bit more, or let's say the Spanish speaking. We already also got confirmation that a locker mesh from Venezuela is coming, and I think this might be more appealing to like a Spanish speaking audience. That might, I'm not sure, but sometimes it might not always be. The connections are probably different between the Spanish speaking and the English speaking audience. But there's probably also a lot of connections, but it's important to like kind of create these connections. And especially for Barcelona, there is a place called Polis Paralela, which is a new place. It's being opened up, where actually the first event to be publicly held there, which is really exciting. And it is a sort of a child of the Paralelní Polis project in Prague, which houses the Institute of Cryptoanarchy. So it's also really exciting to be hosting the Lightning Hack Day in such a unique setting. The building or the whole space is amazing. It's still being built out, but it's going to be great. It's like proper, amazing, awe-inspiring architectural work being done there. And
yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so if you're in Barcelona, it's not open yet, but even if you cannot make it to the Lightning Hack Day at the first weekend of April, you should definitely check out future events and go to Polis Paralela in Barcelona, because I think it has the potential to be something really, really exciting, and it has really great people working on it to like make it come true.
Yeah, I think that Barcelona is needing this space, and Barcelona has a lot of potential and a lot of idea. Bitcoin scene, yeah, a lot of blockchain scene, let's say, but Bitcoin and Barcelona are needing this space. I think it's gonna be a good push for these kind of events, hack days, and any other kind of event related with Bitcoin. These Socratic meetups that are happening right now around the world about Bitcoin also could be the place, and I'm really looking forward to see it open and see in what it evolves. So, okay, just one last question. Where would you recommend somebody to start with Lightning?
Oh, that's a good question. It's still a hard question to answer. There's a book being worked on. It's called Mastering Lightning, or Mastering the Lightning Network, with Andreas Antonopoulos, René Picard, and Rosebeef from Lightning Labs. It starts to take shape. I think it's available on GitHub. It's a work in progress. It's probably a good resource to go to. But other than that, it's still pretty early. So I would say, depending on where you're coming from, there's not really this one single source that I could really recommend. It really depends on what you're trying to learn or trying to achieve. There's Telegram has a couple chats. Twitter is probably also a good place to start out, but you kind of have to look for everything in different places. And so online, it's hard to say, and offline, I would say the Lightning Hack Day.
They should come to Barcelona in April.
Exactly. Yes.
and this is the best place to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we hope we'll try to offer some newcomer friendly introductions and talks. Of course, like knowing a bit about Bitcoin is probably the way to go, but I think it's okay if you do not know a whole lot about the Lightning Network and you use it as a starting point to develop your curiosity.
Well, I'm doing my part. I did one podcast with Carlos Roldan and another one with Dario from Moon Wallet, both about Lightning, the first class and the second class. And this is a series that's gonna keep on building with the great Spanish minds that are great in Lightning. So So yeah, I hope that this. I know a lot of people is using it as a start. So I hope to keep on building, and I hope to see all these people interested in Lightning to join us in Barcelona. And for you, Fulmo, thank you for joining me in this micropod. Lately, they are starting to be not so micro. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, I know, but
yeah, and it's just so I feel that one more question, and I'm holding myself, but no, it's but okay, it's good. I think it was quite round. So thank you for joining. And if somebody wants to find you, where should they look for to get in contact with you?
So the website for the Lightning Hack Day is lightninghackday.fulmo.org. That's FULMO, or just do fulmo.org, or just on Twitter it's Fulmo Lightning, FULMO Lightning. Yeah, those are probably the best places to get in contact.
Great.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and nos vemos en Barcelona.
Nos vemos en Barcelona. Thank you, Fulmo.
Thank you.